Greetings, everyone. I am very excited today to have Lisa Dunnington of the People's Health Alliance in the UK to talk with us about your incredible grassroots program and how you're really building a system that can provide a different model, a different paradigm of healthcare. And part of what's exciting to me about this is that some of us astrologers, I know Pam Gregory has talked to Catherine McBean about your program. We're very excited about programs that are reflecting the Aquarian model, the Aquarian paradigms that we're moving into that are very much about community, collaboration, equality, which seem so embedded in some of the core principles of the PHA.
Absolutely.
But you have just launched in February of this year, is that correct?
So we began pulling things together. We started to act upon our vision in February. We actually launched officially into the public arena on the 23rd of April. So we're just over 4 months old.
And how many hubs do you have now in the UK?
So in the UK, we have just over 125, I think, at the last count, around the country. But we're also in conversations with 25 countries who are very keen to roll out under the PHA blueprint. So the growth has just been phenomenal. I mean, we always envisaged that it would be a global initiative, but for it to have happened so quickly is just amazing. And I think, to be honest, it was Catherine's interview with Pam Gregory that actually propelled it and got the message out there. And I've just spent, since that, which was 2 months ago, I think, the interview, I've just been inundated with emails. How do I get involved? I'm in this country and we really want to do this together. And, some of the comments were just so heartwarming. It was unbelievable. People have just been desperate for this to happen for so long, and they've wanted to do it themselves. They've had similar visions, but to actually see it happen and to hear their words was just absolutely phenomenal. It really was. So we are going for it. It's a global initiative. People need this, people want it, and I actually think we've hit the nail on the head with the blueprint that we've created. So it's very exciting.
As you said, Lisa, you're tapping into such a deep need. And yes. From an astrological perspective, we're in a period of time where the systems and structures that are hierarchical, that are top down, that are dysfunctional are needing to break down in order for new forms to emerge. And part of what I find so exciting about PHA is, instead of reacting to the problems in the current system, you just launched a new system.
Oh, completely. Absolutely. And we are very much bottom up. Everything we have done has been for the people, by the people. It's not owned by us. It's created for and owned by the people. So we're very much bottom up. And you're right. I think the current system is just collapsing in on itself. We don't want any part of that. We're here to support leaving that old system and helping people to do that. But we're very much creating the world that we want to live in, that we all want to live in, that we all deserve to live in. So it's all about the new. And we'll leave the other to just go and do what it wants to do. We're gone. We're creating this. So it's so exciting, really is. So we're not stopping. We're not stopping with health. We're talking about every part of society. So we're talking about the People's Alliance. It's bigger than health. It's education. It's the infrastructure of society. It's food, farming, it's all of those things. So there's a lot to come. There's a lot of exciting stuff to come.
Well, before we get into that aspect of it, because you're right, it's like this web that is just going to keep spreading and making connections and networking with other programs and other systems. But let's start with the People's Health Alliance and what your core mission was around establishing a new health system.
We are very much, as I said, people-led. It's an organic initiative. It is our approach is for an integrative health system for people, and we don't like the word system, but integrative healthcare. So it encompasses all aspects of holistic and allopathic, because we can't switch off from the allopathic overnight. We need to do a transition there. But it's an integrative approach, and we very much believe it should be coming back down to community level. This is where it needs to happen. And everybody's idea of what that should look like will be different to some degree. We created a blueprint for it, but that's what it is. It's a blueprint. It's our advice, if you like, but you can take it or leave it, because everybody will adapt it according to their own needs within their own community. But you know, we based ourselves on some core principles, and it's probably worth talking about those, because it was through those principles that we developed our vision. So firstly, we take personal responsibility for our own health. And what we want to do is give people the power back, empower people to take back the responsibility for their own health. For too long, they've been told, take this pill, you know, and then another one for the side effects and this one. And, you know, it's time we took personal responsibility again. Another principle is that we're all equal, regardless of our role in society, regardless of our role in PHA, regardless of our role in the family, we're all equal. And I think one of the main ones for me is we believe that access to good healthcare should be a right. It's not a privilege. It's a right of everybody. So, you know, it shouldn't matter how much money you've got or where you're standing in the community is. Everybody deserves to have good healthcare.
And the same quality of care.
So
everybody deserves access, but also that same quality of care.
Absolutely, 100%. Because there are countries that we're talking to where different parts of society benefit from one type of healthcare, and the less fortunate in society have a completely different structure to their healthcare. So absolutely. And it's important to welcome everybody. Everybody's equal, as I said, but everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter. For so long now, for decades, they've been dividing us on every level, every possible level that you can even think of, you know. So we welcome everybody. It doesn't matter what your choices have been. They may differ from others, but everybody's welcome. And we really embrace that integrative approach to health. So we have to recognise that the holistic works for some, the allopathic works for others. We very much acknowledge the role of nature in healing.
I love that principle.
Absolutely. You know, it's back to Mother Earth, isn't it? And for so long, this has been denied us. It's been demonized. The natural health from nature has been denied us. I'm a huge advocate of CBD, and you know, you just have to look back in history, really around the turn of the century into, you know, the 1900s. This is when it was demonized, and it went hand in hand with the industries that were emerging at that time. It's coming back. The cat's out of the bag. People know, and we're sharing that message. We're sharing the natural products and what the health benefits are them for them.
What's so important too about that, Lisa, is the more the product is natural, the more our body can integrate it and really use it. And so much of what
Absolutely.
illness is about is a lack of harmony. Somehow our body has gotten out of balance or out of harmony, and nature functions in that fostering of harmony and balance. So when we model after the patterns of nature, that supports us in healing, but also the more natural the products, the more they can be supportive of our body. And I think part of what's powerful about PHA is you're bringing the power back to the people and back to that connection of being in right relationship with the earth, and taking the power away from the pharmaceutical companies who need to use synthetics to patent the medications that then they can profit from. So this is actually coming back to what health is all about instead of profit.
Absolutely. And what you're describing is the body in homeostasis. You know, it's time to re-educate people. This is a big part of PHA, is educating people to take that power back, to provide the tools, to provide the knowledge. So another key principle is prevention rather than cure. And by educating people in these things, you give them back the power to make their own choices. Step away from big pharma.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's, you know, part of what I talk about a lot in my videos is that part of moving into the Aquarian age is rebalancing the energies of the masculine and feminine, and rebalancing left brain ways of knowing with right brain ways of knowing. And part of what I love in what you're doing with PHA is you're incorporating the best of allopathic medicine, but you're really integrating holistic approaches that have really been pushed to the side to a great extent. And to me, a lot of the holistic approaches understand that more integrative sense of body, mind, spirit, and of how our bodies function in a holistic way, rather than too much of medicine, I think, has become specialized and focused on symptoms or particular aspects of our body without seeing how we function as a whole.
Yeah.
So
that's really interesting. That is really interesting, because you've probably seen on our website, we've got a health optimization program on there, and that can help with a lot of the things that are happening to people at the moment because of choices they've made. If they've been coerced into making those choices, it's not been a free choice, shall we say, an informed choice for many. But we went at that in a holistic approach of mind, body, and spirit. It wasn't just, okay, what supplements can I take to try and help with these issues? It was the whole package. It starts with gut health. It's your mind, the mental health, the spirit, the whole healing. So it's interesting that you say that.
That actually intrigues me, because, you know, I'm a clinical psychologist as well as an astrologer. How does dealing with mental and emotional health fit in with the PHA?
Oh, it's a key project for us. We've got two really. We've got the mental health and trauma of adults, but we've got the teens and young adults that, you know, for the last 2.5 years, they've been absolutely, I think, you know, attacked. They've been under attack constantly. And mental health is a real issue for so many children and young people and adults. I mean, suicide rates are going through the roof. So it's a key issue for us. We have an amazing mental health team led by our ambassador, Helen Strong, and we also have a number of projects lined up. One specifically for, we'd love to do, one of the main focuses is a hotline for teens. everybody, it's different. It's different at the pediatric level and the teen level in terms of the support you can give. But very much mental health is a huge issue and a huge priority for us, for sure.
And part of what I think is so powerful about the way People's Health Alliance is structured is it really is community-based. So
Absolutely.
What's extraordinary is you're providing a template with your blueprint, but you're helping people in their own communities discern what their needs are, what their priorities are, how to access the resources and the practitioners in their area to address those needs. So it really creates such flexibility and diversity for
Absolutely.
people to design their own program, their own hub in their own community in a way that really addresses the needs of the community. And then it's creating this sense of more of a focus on building community also. So it's about individual health, but it's also about community health.
It is, and it's looking after the weaker, the more, those that are not able to look after themselves. We need to get back to the way it was pre-World War II, when everybody knew everybody in that community, when everybody rallied, when somebody needed help. That's all gone. It's all been broken down over the last few decades. People don't know the neighbours. I don't know if I'm sure. I don't know if it's different in the US, but certainly here, you can live in a village or a town that's not that big, but people don't talk to each other the same anymore. Everybody's suspicious of the next person, and
I think that really was an after effect of COVID, because
absolutely it's been heightened, very much heightened by the pandemic. And if this has taught us anything, it's that we need to break down those barriers and look after the vulnerable around us, look after each other, and share resources, share ideas, come back together. It really, it's really exciting. It's really exciting, and it's great because I can see it happening. I've got my own hub local to me, and it's happening, and it really is empowering. And it may be, I'm probably mentioning this too soon, but we're due to launch the People's Food and Farming Alliance probably in the next month. I think, again, it all comes back down to community, pulling together and working with your local farmers, cutting out that middleman, taking ownership again, taking responsibility.
Well, and what's beautiful is if we're talking about health and in looking at health holistically, mind, body, spirit, then you have to factor in everything. Food is a critical aspect of health.
Yeah.
How we care for each other, support each other is a critical aspect of health.
Yeah.
How we, I just did an interview with evolution biologist Elizabeth Sahordist. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she really brilliantly describes how species, as they develop, move from a competitive way of being in interaction with each other to the realization that to thrive, you have to be cooperative.
Absolutely.
And collaborative.
Yes.
And I feel like we're at a crucial choice point as humanity, that if we keep on this competitive path, we will destroy ourselves. But if we move into collaboration, community, caring, sharing with each other, then we really can move towards thriving.
Yeah. And, that is one of the key things about PHA is the collaboration. It's what we've done since the very beginning. We've reached out to other grassroots movements that we feel our ethos aligns with, and we've collaborated. And that's another reason why this has grown so quickly, I think, because of those really strong partnerships that we've developed. And we don't want to reinvent the wheel. If somebody else is doing something and they're doing it really well, hey, let's do it together. We'll join with you and we'll do it together. And we don't want to own anything. We don't want to take anything from people that are already doing a great job. It's true collaboration, you know, but even we are seeing at the moment within the movement, there are some who just haven't quite left their egos at the door. So there's a little bit of shuffling and this going on at the moment. For us, it's really simple. If you're doing it well, we want to help. We want to, you know, just join you and let's get this out to everybody, because it will come down to those community hubs. That's where it's going to happen. We see ourselves as facilitators. We're creating the tools and resources and facilitating what can happen at a hub level. But at the end of the day, that's where it's going to happen. We can only try and facilitate it and provide people with as much as we can do to make it happen.
So do you have a way that people in their different hubs can be interacting with each other or coming back into connection with you to be gaining guidance or getting support with problems that come up? Is that
we do? I mean, we are literally learning as we go. You know, and we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot, and this is the thing about the international expansion. The other countries can benefit from our mistakes, if you like, and you know, the benefit of hindsight. So we have too many Telegram groups. I've got to tell you, there are too many Telegram groups, because we have groups for all those reasons, to support hubs as they are starting out, to give them a place to come and speak together, who's doing what's working, what isn't working, sharing experiences, sharing the wins. And again, you know, we've come across some friction. Well, that's been happening because people like to own things, don't they? Well, we've got a win over here, but I don't want to share it there because it's our win, you know, and
so it's really helping people shift that paradigm and get out of that competitive model.
You would probably love it, Heather, to just sit and observe what's going on in some of the hubs, because it's a great example of leaving the old behind and going into the new. And it's not always easy to let go, I guess, you know, for some people. It's a harder struggle. So there's a little bit of tug and war going on, a little bit of, well, I own that. And but generally, you are seeing people just sharing and moving forward together collectively and collaborating. So it's wonderful to see.
Now, you have a background in finance. Tell me a little bit about how this works financially, because basically you're stepping out of the national health system there in the UK. And I'm really trying to support this in my local community, but also get more attention to this program in the United States. So, and people are going to immediately ask, well, what does that mean in terms of my insurance? How do I pay for this? How is that working with the PHA?
So it is different here, obviously. You've got a different system in the US, and that's something we'll look at with the US group that's already established. But certainly in the UK, I mean, what we are really trying to do is just offer a backup for people for the failing NHS. So yes, people think that they don't pay for the NHS, but they do pay for the NHS. They pay a national insurance contribution every month through their salary. So they always have, you know, and we have people now that are in their twilight years who should be looked after because they've been paying their contributions all their life, and they can't get an ambulance, they can't get a GP's appointment. So what we are doing, we're not claiming to replace the NHS, because we can't in terms of at this point, maybe in the future. I never say never. But, you know, at the moment, we're just trying to provide a backup when people are being failed by the systems that are,
and an alternative,
and give them an alternative, a better, a holistic alternative. Exactly. So from a financial point of view, I guess there's several layers to it. Certainly at the central level, where we're trying to develop the support lines, etc. So far, everything we have done to get to this point has been unfunded and all based on volunteers, which is just blows me away when I look at it. And, you know, unfortunately, as is usually the case, there's a very small number of people doing a lot 95% of the work. But we can't sustain that. So to get to the next level, we need to go out and find funding. So we are putting together a pitch for crowdfunding. We're looking at attracting large donors. But we've also launched an appeal in the UK, which is the Power of the Pound appeal. I don't know if you've heard.
Catherine was talking about that in her interview with Pam.
Yeah. So it's a pretty urgent appeal. And what it is we obviously recognise that we're in an economic crisis right now. So we said most people can afford to donate £1. And imagine if we got 1 million people donating £1. So that's the basis of the Power of the Pound appeal. We'd love to get 1 million people donating £1. Now the proceeds for that, for the majority of the proceeds for that appeal will go to providing emergency equipment and first aid training at a community hub level. So, you know, as the NHS continues to collapse and the ambulance service continues to fail to come to call outs. I mean, people are waiting 40 hours for an ambulance.
I heard that there are 6 million people trying to get access to healthcare that are just on hold, that are waiting there.
Yeah, it's horrendous. It's horrendous.
Yeah. So I mean, the system is clearly failing.
It's very much so. So the Power of the Pound appeal is really about us raising money to provide that equipment and training at a community level to sustain life until the services can actually come and meet the needs of the people. We won't be able to save everybody, but we can save people if we have that training, if we have that basic equipment, emergency equipment that's so needed. So that's the appeal. So really at a central level, we have funding requirements through campaigns, through donors, but then at a hub level, it's very much down to the hubs themselves. We are in the process of setting up an idea of a membership scheme. Again, it will be down to the hubs whether they adopt it, whether they tweak it for their own purposes, but we will put a skeleton membership scheme together, and we're pretty close to launching that, to just enable people to join as members, but also part of that will go into creating a social care pot for those less fortunate, for those that cannot afford to pay for treatment. And in terms of practitioner and client, that's up to them. That's their negotiation in terms of how, you know, what they charge for services.
But what's beautiful is you're really helping practitioners in these different community hubs connect with each other, collaborate with each other, be referring to each other. So it's really supporting that sense of community also.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. And like I say, we're not here to tell anybody how they should be doing things. It's what works in your community. We can just provide some ideas, some resources, some tools to get to where you want to be with that.
Again, what's so beautiful and powerful about the model is it is a grassroots model for the people, by the people, and it has this openness to diversity because of that. It's really able to be fine-tuned to whatever the community is and what their needs are. But I also think it's so extraordinary that it can begin interfacing with other systems and other programs so that it really does spread and become more a way of being in community and collaboration with each other that is really bypassing all the dysfunction that we have politically and culturally in our world as well, with that top-down hierarchical power over model. So this is
That's just
really becoming a
dividing
whole
people.
different paradigm, a whole different parallel system that's just growing on its own and can keep expanding.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that top-down approach that creates division, isn't it?
Yeah.
That puts people into boxes, that sets them against each other. So by going from bottom up and letting people own what they're creating, there's no difference. There's no difference between people. As we said in the principles, we're all equal. We're all entitled. It shouldn't be a privilege to have great healthcare. It's a right. It's your birthright to have good healthcare.
Yeah.
And to have that knowledge to be able to make those decisions for yourself.
Well, and I love that one of the principles too is that we need to take responsibility for ourselves. We need to take responsibility for our health, but we're also, I think, embedded in this is the awareness that we can't look to someone else to solve these problems that we're all dealing with right now. We I love that Hopi prophecy. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We need to take action, empower ourselves to take responsibility, to make the changes that we want to see in the world. And that's exactly what you're doing.
Definitely, definitely. You know, I think certainly the core team that have founded PHA, we all agree on one thing, and that's no one's coming to save us. We save ourselves. We use this amazing opportunity to create the future we want for our children.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So before we stop, tell me, what step would practitioners or people in a community take to begin this process? It sounds like they can download the blueprint, the hub blueprint off your website.
Yeah, they can. There's a number of things they can do. As I said, you know, register with the website. You've got the health optimization program on there. You've got the practitioner directory is a UK one, but what we are doing with our country groups is we're creating a skeleton website template, if you like, so that they can create their own. But rather than starting from scratch, we'll have the facility to use our resources, but also set up their own practitioner database. We've put together a 10-step plan of getting started, basically. So things like identifying a core team. You know, you're going to need IT, social media, all those fundraising, finance, all those key people that we have the benefit now of hindsight, because at the time we were just doing everything and trying to. But it's great to be able to now look back and say, okay, we went from February to the 23rd of April and launched. What did we do? What did we do well? What should we have done differently, so that we can save you time at this point, to get you to the point of launching. So setting up a core team, partners and affiliates, which is your collaboration. Don't try and do everything. Look around, see who's doing what, see who's doing things that you really love and are aligned with what you want to do, and talk to them, bring them together. And, you know, we did pre-launch Zoom meetings with the public, with influencers, to spread the word about what was coming and when we were going to launch and what our key principles were, what our mission and vision was, so that by the time we launched, we had a pretty good audience already and we were ready to go. So we've got this 10-point plan, and we've also got other things within our resources and tools that can help. So all the Telegram groups, any country is welcome to join in, you know, the Hub starting out groups. We've got another one called Hub Life, which is where everybody can go in and talk and share things. We've got actually, we've got a really good thing that I love, and we're just trying to launch this, get more people on it, but we've got a forum. So rather than everything being on Telegram, we'll still need those groups because it's a great way for people to connect. But if you wanted to have a chat about a specific thing in a Telegram group, it's lost in about 5 minutes in the whole chat. You know, the thread is lost straight away. So we've set up a forum, which is more private, and each hub, each country can have its own private chat group. And then you can start to chat about, okay, who's found premises? What did you know, what's the best way to go about finding premises, etc. And the chat stays there. That thread remains and anybody can join in. So the forum is going to be really key, I think, for us. And that's there for all the countries that want to join in. I'm just trying to think on.
But this is great. Again, it's just establishing this collaboration across hubs, across countries, everybody sharing with each other what's working, what's not working, and how to, and supporting each other.
It is. And I just love, I love the fact that, you know, we are talking to so many countries across 6 continents. We've not cracked Antarctica yet, but, you know, leave that to me for a little bit longer. But, you know,
that is so exciting.
The fact that we've got that.
And that you just launched in April.
Yeah,
I mean, think how extraordinary that is.
I just don't see any borders. You know, there shouldn't be any borders, and there isn't. So we share everything. It needs adapting, obviously, for certain regulations and things in your own countries, but the basics are all there. The basics are there, and they're owned by everybody worldwide. So really exciting.
And it also shows how rapidly these new paradigms and new ways of being in community can grow and begin to flourish. So it's in our hands.
The train has left the station. We're not. It's only going forward, and it's really exciting to see because it's gathering such a pace. Yeah, this isn't going away. Well, and the good thing is as well, because we are not just one big central body, if they take that down, all the hubs carry on.
Well, part of what's so powerful about your model too is you're not getting caught in polarization. You're not getting caught in the divisiveness. You're not trying to fight against anything. You're promoting what you care about. And like you said, creating the world that you want to be living in. And this will continue to flourish and thrive because really from a deep spiritual perspective, I believe it is when we are in harmony with the earth, when we are in harmony with the energies of the cosmos, that we do thrive. Everything comes into right alignment. And these are the energies of the Aquarian age that we're moving into, which is about equality, acceptance of diversity, cooperation, community, collaboration. So these are the paradigms that are going to grow stronger and stronger. And the paradigms of the past, I think we're in that last gasp of the power over model,
isn't it? Yeah.
And so we see even more intensely the effort by some to cling to that, but it will fail. And these are the paradigms that are going to emerge, that are going to thrive. So
I think you mentioned
setting an example for that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier as well, Heather, about the emergence of the feminine. I cannot tell you, because I do a lot of the partners and affiliates collaborations. All of these movements are female-led. I mean, sometimes we're in Zoom meetings and it's like, hey, where are the men? You know, it really is. It's fascinating to see, because the women are stepping up.
Well, and I think, you know, we all have the energy of the masculine and feminine within us, but I think because of our enculturation, women are more naturally oriented towards relationship, towards community, and towards concern for the next generation and the generation after that. So again, we who are tuned into that and really caring and embodying those energies can take the leadership to help others remember what it means to be back in connection and in community and caring about our children and our children's children. So it's beautiful.
It is because so much as that has been lost for too long.
Yeah. Well, it's still embedded in the indigenous cultures, but we've lost it in so many of our modern cultures.
Yeah, absolutely. So it gives me goosebumps just to think about it sometimes. It's amazing what's happening. It's a wave that's going around the world.
Great way to put it.
Like I said, it's not stopping. Cat's out of the bag. The genie is out of the bottle.
Well, I love that image of the wave and that it's just going to keep growing.
It's a wave of love going around the world, and they can't stop it.
Well,
we can only grow it.
Thank you for what you're doing and all the time and energy you're putting into this. I am so grateful for all of you that have launched this and really want to support others in becoming a part of this wave and this effort to co-create together a new world.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you. Thank you for having me on and interviewing me, because if we can just help spread the word, then it's been a good day. I think the more people we can reach, the better. People need this. That's clear from the speed of growth. So the more people we can reach, the better. So thank you. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.